Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to what is it? It's April's session of QB Talks. I'm Cheska Cordero from Insightful Accountant and your host for today. Now, before we start, I want to go ahead and ask a question of the day, just as you guys know that I love it. While you guys are coming in and settling down in front of your computers, your phones, or your tablets, what have you, and whoever's already with us in the room, you can also answer a question of the day. Feel free to kind of come in and join us. Okay, Alicia, my
Okay.
question of the day
Mhm.
is if a cassette or a disc would have gotten stuck in your card's player and it was stuck in a loop,
Mhm.
what song or like an album do you think would be playing?
Well, this answer is going to give you a whole lot of insight about my personality. I'm a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan,
Ooh,
and for Halloween, I have a whole Quill outfit, Peter Quill, and he's known, if people haven't seen the movie, is he has a Walkman
mm-hmm.
that his mom
Yes.
gave him, and so as part of my cosplay costume, I found a
A
cassette
Walkman?
player, a Walkman, which was surprisingly hard to do. And I found an actual cassette of the soundtrack, like that looked like a handwritten cassette. And so I put that all together for my costume and I got all excited. I put new batteries in it. I pressed play and the stupid Walkman ate the tape.
Oh no.
So I never actually
Did you
got
have a
to
pencil
hear
to fix that?
it. So I did pencil it back and try again, but it just absolutely crinkled it. So never
Oh
try a
no.
30-year-old Walkman on an actual cassette tape because it will eat it. So I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
I'm
I
gonna say
won't.
Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack one.
Okay, so maybe I won't try my old Walkman that I have had since I was a kid. Okay, so we
Yeah.
have a few answers from everybody.
Oh,
Two said,
Elaine said they might be Giants, which is one of my favorite bands. So yeah, Elaine.
do we not have R&B fans or like pop stans? Because like I remember as a kid, I had this. Okay, so I'm a younger millennial, very young millennial. As a kid, I grew up with a favorite. I had a favorite cassette. And side A was Britney, and side B was Christina. And that was the best thing in my childhood that I could probably own. So that was my favorite thing on this planet. I think I still have it, but obviously I don't have anything to play it on. So yes, I still have my childhood Walkman, but I'm scared to also try it because I'm even more scared now because of Alicia's story. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, while we're on that, let's go ahead and start. Again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to April's QB Talks. Again, I am Cheska Cordero from Insightful Accountant and your host for today. Now, in this QB Talks, we're talking about modern reports and pivot tables with the wonderful Alicia Katz-Pollock. Now, I'll hand this off to Alicia in just a little bit after I cover a few of the housekeeping items. Now, CPE is being offered for this session, and you have to be in the session for at least 50 minutes. You have to answer at least 3 of the polling questions. If you have any questions, you guys know the drill. Please enter them in the Q&A panel, and remember to be specific. You can't just say, "Hey, what you mean?" You gotta ask, "Hey, Alicia, what do you mean by your Walkman ate the tape?" Mainly because you might not get to your question right after you put it in there. Now, we will be sending you a copy of the slide deck and a link to the recording after the webinar. And it's also going to be up on our YouTube channel within about 24 hours. So if you want to go check that out over there, along with many other webinars that we've done in the past that might be of interest to you. And I'll also be putting the link to our YouTube channel right into our chat. And do not forget that we have many webinars for you every month, whether you're interested in practice management, marketing, everything tax, or all things QuickBooks, just like this webinar. Insightful Accountants got something for you. Now you can check out all of our webinars that are available to you over on our educational webinars page right on our site. And do not worry, I'll also be putting that link into our chat as well. So if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, also join the tens of thousands of accounting professionals who rely on Insightful Accountant to keep them up to date on news and updates impacting today's accounting professional. Now, I will be rolling out all of those links, so many, and the copy of the slide deck throughout the webinar in case you might have missed it the first time I put it up there. So watch out for that in the chat. And please remember to answer also the post-webinar survey that will pop up after the webinar so that we over at Insightful Accountant can further improve our webinars and really give you what you guys want. All right, then. Well, actually, that's it for me, Alicia. Welcome and thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Why don't we go ahead and run that first poll as well? And then we will get underway. Okay, so this is the one about CPE. Would you like a CPE certificate? Give us a yes or give us a no, and then that will make sure that you're on Cheska's radar to get your CPE for being here. So go ahead and get that answered. We'll give that about a minute up. And while we're waiting on that, so yes, the topic today is the modern reports, and I am totally happy to answer questions. So as you have them, if you can put them in the Q&A pane in the Zoom, that's where I will be looking for questions. And so I try and work them in as best as possible wherever I can. Okay, there's also the webinar chat where you're welcome to chatter amongst yourselves. Okay. So go ahead and, okay, we got that poll question done, and let's go underway. So while everybody is settling in, just a moment about me. My name is Alicia Katz-Pollock. I will be your guide for today. My company is royalwise.com, and what I do is provide QuickBooks Online training for accounting firms, bookkeepers, and small businesses. I'm a top 50 woman in accounting, top 10 pro advisor through Insightful Accountant. And what I bring to the table is that I actually have a master's in teaching, but instead of teaching 7th grade English, I find it far more rewarding to teach adults things that they are interested in that helps their careers blossom. And so along those lines, I also write textbooks as well for schools and have some books on Amazon. Okay, that's enough about me. I would like to introduce our this month's sponsor, ViaPay, and we have Mark. So Mark, do you want to take 5 minutes and tell us about ViaPay?
Sure. Thank you. I sure will. I'm glad to be here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Great. Thanks, Alicia. So the company's ViaPay. My name is Mark Ralt. A little bit about myself quickly. It's my 20th year in the payment space, and we are glad to be here to participate with Insightful Accountant and helping, businesses and pro advisors truly help streamline and drive efficiencies within accounts receivable and payments, specifically inside of QuickBooks. So ViaPay is a payment facilitator, or a PayFac for short. That's a little different than what you might be used to in an Intuit payment world or other payment providers. We are a digital payment platform fully embedded into QuickBooks with an on-demand solution that's built for any and all business cases. Just about any type of business, e-com, manufacturing, B2B, B2C, restaurant, retail. We provide a complete payment processing solution and a payout solution as well. So we're a little unique in that aspect where we're accepting incoming payments and able to send out payouts at the same time, all built to optimize revenue and help our clients just kind of demystify payments and make it simple and straightforward. And part of how we do that is partnering with groups just like Insightful and other ERP softwares across the country. We integrate with QuickBooks, Acumatic, and NetSuite and other. Is instant onboarding. So we take the control and the integrity of the transaction process from the point of authorization to the point of deposit or settlement. And that control gives our partners and our clients a real sense of security, knowing that the same company is authorizing your transactions. We're fully integrated and embedded into QuickBooks. Those deposits are being handled in a secure environment from us between credit cards, government cards, P cards or purchasing cards. ACH e-check, we have that as well. So underwriting is immediate. So if you're a ViaPay potential client, you're underwritten and live in minutes. There is not a long process of having to harvest data and do credit pulls and bank statements and some of the stuff that used to come along with underwriting a merchant account. So we operate with the highest level of security in all of the payment industry compliance aspects as PCI, 3D Secure, and others. So we have built-in fraud protection chargeback protection, all ready for the client, all ready for our clients. It's not an extra cost. And so I really find a lot of really strong new client relationships and a lot of value really coming out of our QuickBooks environment and our B2B or B2C environment about getting paid faster, right? How to help our customers and our end users get that revenue brought in, get that invoice paid. So a lot of our focus nowadays is on timeline to revenue, lowering that DSO, how fast we get that money into your account. If it's a click to pay invoice or it's an embedded link, right, where that client can click and pay an invoice. If it's parking an invoice in a portal, so your customer has 24/7 access to allow his clients to pay at any time with any form of payment. So again, back to that timeline of revenue, keeping payments simple, allowing customers to your clients to speed up that revenue. That timeline of revenue is a large benefit that I see as of the last 3 to 5 years. It's really switched from what's my rate, right? What am I paying to how can I get paid faster? Where can I drive efficiencies in my business as it relates to accounts receivable and accounts payable? So a few more benefits to the end user. We have a fully GAAP compliant surcharging component that allows your clients to pass on that fee of a credit card transaction if they so choose. And that has to have some real compliance around it. We have that by state, by jurisdiction. It's a native two-way sync within QuickBooks. Again, it's fully embedded. Your client's never coming out of QuickBooks or coming back in with a transaction or posting to a ledger. And we've added some really cool features that our clients are enjoying, like automated payments. Like set it and forget it. Your client might have a need to bill a certain customer a certain amount. He can build a schedule, or your client can now build a schedule and have those payments happen automatically. And again, that portal I touched on, that's a really, I'm getting a lot of real attention on that portal, having the ability to park invoices and allow customers to log in 24/7, pick and choose what to pay, how to pay, and when to pay, versus waiting on a invoice to come in the mail, or having to send an email and having them have to find the email. So in all, it's about how to help your clients get paid faster, drive efficiencies, and we grow through relationships just like this here. So look forward to working with any and all of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My contact information is here. We'd love to help in any way we can.
Well, thanks, Mark. I really love the idea that it's embedded in QuickBooks and that you can pass on the fees where allowed. So I definitely want to check it out myself. So thanks
Perfect.
for coming on.
Thank you, Alicia.
And let's actually run a poll, another poll. If anyone would like to hear from ViaPay and have them reach out to take a look and see if this is a great solution for you or for your clients, go ahead and say yes right now, and then we will make sure that ViaPay reaches out to you so that you can learn more. So go ahead and give that a yes or a no, and then we will pick up and keep going. So if you go ahead and look on your screen, there's a poll waiting for ViaPay as our sponsor so that we can make sure that we can connect you to them. So go ahead and answer that poll, and then we will move into the reports. Oh, a question just came in, Mark. Is ViaPay in Canada as well?
Yes, we can process Canada as well.
Excellent. Okay, I know a lot of people will be happy to hear that. All right, let's go ahead and close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then the question also just came in other countries as well. So in addition to Canada, other countries?
Yeah, we have international capabilities. We do.
All right, fabulous. All right, excellent, Mark. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, hang on 1 second. Okay, so now we're going to move into the meat of our day today. And so we're going to talk about modern reports and also pivot tables. And this is incredibly timely because we're all getting emails right now saying, hey, the classic reports are going away and some of the new reports are becoming modern. And a lot of people kind of have a gut reaction to what's happening around the reports, because when they rolled them out originally back in November, they were ugly and only partially functional. But the new report controls have actually been around now for a couple of years, that with the ability to customize reports and some of the things that I'm going to demonstrate. So they have been really trying to hone it in on what's working. And I have to say that I am actually pretty impressed by how the reports are coming along. So what I want to do today is call your attention to the basic functionality of it and some things that the new reports can do that the old reports could not. So what we are going to do in our session today is become familiar with the new modern layout. So I'll give you a tour of it. I'm going to show off some of the features that make it far more robust than the classic layout that we're used to. And I'm also going to demonstrate how to do the pivot tables in QuickBooks Online Advanced, because if you have been exporting reports out to Excel in order to run pivot tables, just the fact that you can do it inside QBO is fantastic. So let's do that. Now, I do want to point out that this course is literally just the tip of the iceberg on reporting. I have a full 2-hour class on running reports in QuickBooks Online. And so what we're doing right now is like a half an hour of that whole entire class. So if you are a beginner and I'm talking about some things that you're not already familiar with in reports, or you would like to see even more detail on things that I don't have time to cover, this class right here, the running reports in QBO class, the link that's on here actually lets Insightful Accountant know that you heard about the course from QB Talks. And so if you can use this particular link, that would be fabulous. And it's in the handout as well. All right, so let's talk about this new enhanced experience. And what is happening is that Intuit is redesigning all of the reports. And it's not just because they wanted to, keep everything new and fancy. It's actually because Intuit is slowly revising all of the underlying code in all of QuickBooks Online to take advantage of new coding technologies. And so it's not like they're just trying to make your life hard. They're actually trying to keep the software up to date and modernized. There's that word again. And, as we're using some features, you'll notice that they look a little bit different. Like journal entries look very slightly different, and the reconciling screen looks very slightly different. But other features, this has become an opportunity for Intuit to move into the modern age. And, think about it. The code base is now going on 15 years old, and we know how fast technology changes. And so the code that QBO was written on 15 years ago obviously is not going to take us into the future. And so that's why they've been kind of behind the scenes rewriting it and changing it. But the reports, not only is it have a different look and feel, but it's also now opening up a whole bunch of new ability that QuickBooks Online didn't have before, where formerly, if you wanted to do really robust reporting, you would have to use a third-party app. And now you can do a lot of this right inside QuickBooks itself, or inside QuickBooks Online Advanced. And, when I talk about QuickBooks Online Advanced, this is another area where the SKU or the version itself is really becoming really robust. So if a couple of years ago you had dismissed Advanced because of who needs all that fancy stuff, you might want to take a look again, because Advanced is now becoming really, really powerful. So let's take a look at the interface. So what I'm going to do is first talk about all of the different things. And it is actually moving so fast that even when I built this deck a couple of weeks ago, some things have already changed. So let's start with a tour of what's really there. I am in the test company at the advanced level so that I can show you all of the different bells and whistles. And I'm going to go down to the sales by customer report, and we're going to use the sales by customer detail. And you can see here that it says the new enhanced experience. And so I know that this is something that's been modernized. I'll go ahead and run it. And now we're also getting that interstitial saying, hey, this is the new report layout, so that you're not surprised by it. Okay, got it. And now first thing I'm going to do is change the report period. And this has moved. So if some of you haven't, well, actually everything's moved. Let me just say that one more time to really reinforce it, that if your first experience of the modern reports was more than 6 months ago, things have completely changed and this is a whole new world. So you now have all dates. For example, 6 months ago, you weren't even able to run a report that had all dates. So you have the ability to do custom dates, all dates, and all the standard dynamic dates that we love to use. And there's even more of them here than there were on the classic view. And if you wanted custom dates, as soon as you hit custom dates, then it gives you a from and to field. So they weren't there until you actually need them. Now I'm going to put this back on all dates. Okay. Continuing on with the tour, you can change your accounting method right here from cash to accrual as a toggle. This little 3 dots right here has a normal view and a condensed view. So right now this is a little bit more space between it. And when I go to the compact view, then it tightens up a little bit. Now I'm going to get into, actually I might as well say it right now. There's a collapse all right there as well. And what that does is it collapses all of the different groupings so that you can then open and shut them as you want to. And then you can open all of them or collapse all of them. Okay, let's go back to expand all. Over on the right-hand side, there is a button right here to switch to classic view. This is going to be going away, but for now you do have that ability. But instead of just jumping back to classic view, I really encourage everybody to familiarize with the new interface. That change is actually more about change management and your own thinking about change than it is whether something actually works or not. And so in order to have Intuit actually provide you reports that work the way you need them to, instead of just switching back to classic view, don't do that. Go up to give feedback. And actually, if there's something that the reports are not doing the way that you need them to do, please let them know. I have seen my own suggestions show up in the report rollouts. So please help them help you by putting in feedback and be specific, not just, I like the old reports better. That's not helpful. What about the old reports? Or what is missing in the new reports? So you'll go ahead and use that. Okay, under more actions, here you would have the ability to schedule your reports, email your reports, and add them to management reports. And actually, hold that. Okay, there's also a button right here for exporting and printing. You can export to Excel. You can export to CSV, you can export to PDF, and if you're in Advanced, you can also turn this report into the spreadsheet sync interface and then use spreadsheet sync to manipulate the report further. Okay. There's also a save as button. This is how you save your report and put it in the custom reports for future use. Okay, and then these buttons across here, I'm going to be going into depth on all of these. There is a little collapse button, which gets rid of the bar up at the top. And so it gives you a little bit of extra real estate if you're looking at a long report. So you can expand and collapse that way. If you want to change the titles of your reports, there's a little pencil right there. This is also something that's changed just in the last couple weeks, that the report title is now front and center. For a while, it was up on the left-hand side. So that is now improved as well. There's also a new refresh report button that also was not there. So if you make changes to a report or you want to go get the current data, there is now a refresh report up in the upper right-hand side. And so, other than that, the report now also happens inside a frame. And you can see here that it's a little cut off, so you can mouse back and forth, Or I'm going to show you some other space saving techniques in a little while. But one thing that you can also do is the resize. Every time you resize it, it doesn't just resize that one column. Notice that it actually brought over some other columns as well. So when you use this resize, it starts thinking ahead and slides. And so look at that. Now I've got everything showing just by making some of my more narrow ones. So this is a different, more modern approach to sizing your tables. I want to actually take a minute. There's some questions that came in. When I open a report with the new interface, it only offers the old layout. So this is something that is being rolled out. Somebody's asking, well, they don't have some of the modern reports. So again, some of the things that you're seeing are because I'm in advance. And if you're not in advance, you might not see them. And because they are rolling it out in phases to make sure it's working, you might not see all of these changes quite yet. Okay. And Cheryl's commenting that she's one of those people who just sees it and then goes back to the old one, but knows that she's not alone in that. And please, again, I just want to reinforce to everybody, send feedback, send comments. Okay. So Lee's asking, yes, right now I am working in advance, but everything that I've shown you so far, I'm just going to point out what's specific to advanced. Everything else is everywhere. And then Cloudy asks, is save as similar to save customization? So yes, this save as button is the new save customization so that you can save everything that you've done to see it in the custom reports later on. All right, so back over here again. Okay, so that was the tour. And now I want to go into some of the options. So first, there's a tab for general options. And this slide actually cracked me up because when I wrote the presentation 3 weeks ago, there was a lot more here than there was now. Cash and accrual toggle was in this tab, but because people need it so frequently, they took it out of the general options tab and they just put it right up at the top. Sometimes you will also see number formatting, but I have not been seeing that as often. Number formatting was what allowed you to, see the numbers in thousands or turn them red or parentheses. I'm not sure why it's disappeared. It's still in some reports, but not all of them. So that's actually something that I put in feedback about with Intuit to say, where's my number formatting? And then last but not least is the headers and footers, which really are still there. So here is the general options tab. And there's the number format. Nope, no number format. It's not working for me. So this is funny because on my computer over at my desk, I had header and footers that were working before. So the header and footer, what I usually see here is the ability to have it in the center or left or right justified, and the ability to turn on and off the dates down at the bottom inside the footer, and again, left, center, and right. This is funny, just different computers, different experience. All right. So next is the columns. The columns allow you to toggle on and off different columns. You can reorder them by dragging them around. Be very careful to look for these show more links, these tiny little blue links, because there's more than you see just by default. And one thing I want to point out before I start demonstrating is that if you're using QBO Advanced, you actually have the ability to pull in columns from different tables. So instead of just being the fields that are related to the kind of report that you're in right now, we're going to see some customization later on where you can pull fields from literally anywhere. So let me show you how to customize the columns. So here I am with my sales by customer detail report, and I'm going to go to the columns button in the upper right, and I can see right now that I have 10 columns showing. And as I'm looking at this, let's see, are there things I don't need? Like I don't need the balance that's at the end. I'm not looking at this report to see the customer balance, so I'll turn off balance like that, and it'll think, and now balance is gone. Or I can scroll down and here are additional fields that are available in this table. And some of these were not things that you had access to before. So it's kind of cool. For example, maybe I want to know which user created this transaction. So I can turn on created user, and now I can see who on my staff actually created that transaction. Hopefully some of you are going, wow, that's really cool. So now I have the user available as a column as well. Okay. The next section is rearranging the columns that, in addition to turning them on and off, you can move them around. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and I see these little 6-dot waffles over here. And that means that I can now put the columns in any order that I want. So I like seeing date first. So I can go ahead and pick up date and drag it above customer. Now, the customer right now is grayed out because this is a required field. We can't uncheck customer on a sales by customer detail report. So that's why that one is grayed out. But now I've got my date over in the order that I want it. Okay. Now I'm going to do the more columns section later on when I get into the report customization. So this is just the basics, and everything I've shown you so far is in all the versions of QBO. Oh, no, don't lose my report. Okay, I just absolutely accidentally slipped on my control pad and undid what I just did. So let me go grab those real quick and put them back again. So we don't want the balance. We do want the created user, and I want the date first. Okay, now hopefully, there we go. All right, the next thing that I want to look at, actually, the next thing I want to do is answer some questions. Let me take a look. So Merrill is asking, can you export to Excel without saving it? I think so. I haven't actually tried, but if I go export to Excel, yeah, it just went ahead and it downloaded right there. So the answer is yes, you can. Okay, Mary Ellen's asking, are we able to keep various reports open at the same time so we can toggle back and forth between reports? This is when you can open up as many tabs as you want to. I'm really fond of right-clicking on reports and opening it in a new tab. And then you can just, in that new tab, go make more reports, and then you can have as many reports open as you want. Easy peasy. Okay, and Elaine's asking, will the created user show substaff of a firm or only the main firm name? That's an interesting question. I think that's what she's referring to, is that business users only see the accountant firm name and not the actual accountant user who created, like, the team member. So Elaine, I would like to think that it honors the same thing, that a business owner is just going to see your firm creating that username, but I have not tested that out, so I don't know. Okay. All right. Let's get back to next. Okay, the next feature that I want to show you is grouping. And grouping allows you to create header groups and even sub-header groups of all of the data. And it also gives you something new called a hierarchy. And I'm not going to try and explain it. I'm just going to show you what that is. The grouping also has calculations. So I want to show you all three of these things: the hierarchies, the subgroups, and the calculations. So back over here again. And when I'm looking at this report, and I'm going to go to the grouping tab right here, and I can see that it says customer hierarchy. So first question, what is a hierarchy? Let's head down to Freeman's Sporting Goods. And when I look in Freeman Sporting Goods, they have two sub-customers, one for Ocean View Road and one for Twin Lane. So when we're in the customer hierarchy group, both of the sub-customers or projects are showing up underneath Freeman Sporting Goods. Now let me change that. I'm going to go to the group and I'm going to do just plain customer with no hierarchy. And then let's go look for them and look at this. Now there's no Freeman Sporting Goods. There's just Ocean View Road and Twin Lane at the same level as all of the rest of the customers. So that's the difference between hierarchy and regular. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back to customer hierarchy so that Freeman Sporting Goods is represented with the 2 locations underneath. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is let's change the group. So I'm looking at a sales by customer detail report, but maybe I'm not interested in the customers. Maybe I want to know more about the products. So I can change this grouping and change it to the product and service full name. And now I have a whole different report based on the same data. Now it's grouped by landscaping, pest control, rock fountains, sprinkler heads. And I can see all of the different customers involved. Now notice how easy that was. I could just in a second flip it to what I wanted it to be. Now I'll take it a step further. I can see under landscape and gardening, I can see Amy's and Bill's and Ocean View Road. I'm going to add a subgroup for that customer. And now I have subgroups and I can see all of the totals for Amy's Bird Sanctuary and Bill's Windsurf Shop. And if I go ahead and collapse all of this, then I open up any one of them, and now I have the ability to see each of the services broken up by the customer, and then I can open up any one of them to see just their transactions. So that's what the multi-level grouping is about. And again, that has up to 3 deep. Okay. The next thing is group calculations. I want to see when I have these collapsed groups, it's nice to be able to see the total spend for each of these products. But I can also do more with this. If I click add, I can add more totals. And maybe I want some insight into the quantities that are sold. So I'll do quantity. And then I'll calculate this for, check this out, not just the total, but I can do percentages and averages and mins and maxes. So maybe I want the total sales. So now I can see the total quantity, but check this out. I can also do percentage of sales, and it does both of them. So this is something new. A lot of these selectors allow you to have multiple selections underneath. Only some of them, but when you're doing criteria, it does. So now I can see when I look back at my report, I can see for each of these products and services, I can see the total sales, how many, the quantity, and what percentage of my sales they are. Now, right now they're coming in as negatives. It's a little complex to explain why, but this is the percentage of sales. All right. And let's keep on going. Oh my God, I only have 20 minutes left. I got to go faster. Okay. Okay, complex. Now I'm going to go into filters, and filters are a level of complexity to the filters where you can have multiple filters, you can have multiple and conditions, you can have multiple or conditions. So that way you can find exactly what it is that you're looking for. So let's say that I only want to see the invoices related to design. So first thing I'm going to do is pick a transaction type, and I want transactions that are my invoices. And look at all these different transaction types. There's stuff in here you haven't even thought about on doing your normal normal workflows. So I want just invoices. So I'll start with that. And so now when I look at the groupings, now I only have their invoices. But now I don't want landscaping and all of the landscaping stuff. I just want the design stuff. So I'm going to add another condition. And you have an option here for and or. So I want both of these 2 things. So I'm going to do and. And so here I want my product to contain the word design. And then when I click off of it, now I'm just seeing my products and services that include design services. Now, you have like almost infinite flexibility here. maybe I don't want to see all of my clients. I only want to see the work that I'm doing for those Freeman subs. So instead of adding a condition here, I'm going to go down and add a whole separate filter. And I want my customer to be one of the sub-customers of Freeman Sporting Goods. So now when I choose Freeman Sporting Goods, because I did equals and including a sub-customer, now I can see the design specifically for either Ocean View or, well, in this case, the other one isn't there, but I wanted to show you that. But maybe I also want to see Amy's Bird Sanctuary. So here I'm going to say, or the customer is in Amy's Bird Sanctuary. And so now I have Amy's Bird Sanctuary and the and Ocean View. So basically what I want you to come away with here is that you are able to really get in intricate filters with having ands and ors in one and then multiple filters as well. Okay, so hopefully by now you're looking at this going, wait, I know it's different, but this is actually better than it was. That's the reaction I'm hoping that you get. Okay, so let's go ahead and run a poll. Cheska, if you would do that for me, and I'm going to answer some other questions that came in. So Lee's asking, is there the ability to sort a column by percentage? That's a really good question. I would have to test that out. So while the poll is up right now, what reports can be customized? Go ahead and answer that. And I'm going to see if I can get Lee's question answered or not. Let me go ahead and collapse all of them or expand them all. And okay, so I have to do it in collapse because that's when the totals show up. And quantity. So I think it's doing them inside. Quantity increasing, quantity decreasing. So Lee, I don't have an answer for you. I'd really have to test it out. And I shouldn't do that live anyway. Okay, so go ahead and answer your poll question. We have about 20 minutes left, so I want to make sure I can cover all the rest of my stuff. So we're going to close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. And okay, next up is pivot tables. So if you're not familiar with pivot tables, this is one of the best things that Excel has to offer, where you can take your list of data and then show it in rows and columns and calculations that allow you to just flex with it and flex with it and flex with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a separate report, and I'm going to go back and open up that same report again that I from scratch for sales by customer detail. So same report that I was just working on, and I'm going to change my dates to all dates. Now I'm going to go to the pivot tables, which is this button right up here. And in my rows, I'm going to start by doing customers and then products and services. And then the value that I want it to do is add up the amounts. So now I have a list of all of my customers, and I can see all of the services that we have provided to them. Now here's what makes it a pivot table is I can just instantly reverse this. I'm going to clear it. And then instead of customers down, products across, I'm going to do products down and customers across. And again, I'm going to focus on adding up the amounts. So now I have the same data summarized in a whole different way. So that's the cool thing about the pivot tables is that you can literally just pivot and pivot and pivot. Let me get that refreshed. I want all dates. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to do in this pivot table is a whole different look. Check this out. With dates, you can now group your dates by year, quarter, month, and week. So I can now put the months down the left-hand side, and let's put my products across the top and see how much I have sold. And actually, instead of the dollar amount, let's change it this time. Let's do quantity. And so now I can see by month all of my different products and how they have sold. So see how flexible this is? It's just completely amazing. And now the next thing that you can do is take that table and put it into a chart format. And that is done with the button right up here at the top left for chart view. And now what it's doing is it's giving me different columns for different dates. Now, I am going to make sure that I'm going to change this date to month instead of day. So now I have the sales by month. And I'm going to split this by product and watch what this does. So split, I'm going to type in product. There's my product and service. Now, when I did it at first, it made different colors for all of my different products. But something else you can do is use the chart type, and I can make a stacked bar. Now I'm back to my months, and I can hover over it and see exactly what sold in one shot. Pretty cool, right? So the pivot tables are just also a great, really useful addition, and you could get lost in playing with these for hours. Okay, a couple questions that came in. Can you export the pivot tables? So if here I am in a chart, and this chart is allowing me to save it as a PDF or export to a PNG, so an image. So you can turn these charts into images. And if I'm still back in the table view, that export does allow me to send it to Excel, CSV, and PDF. The pivot tables are only available in Advanced. And so if you're looking for reasons to upgrade, this for some people is a really, really good one. Kat's noticing that not all reports can be favorited. I'm not sure why. I don't know if that's an interface issue or not. All right. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, and yeah, and no, never mind. Oh, somebody else is asking, inventory cost is FIFO. Will it ever change to average cost? It won't. QBO is FIFO only. If you do need average cost, you could use what's it called? Inventory, not inventory, SOS inventory, or other third-party apps, and then you can have different inventory bases. Okay. Let's go. The next thing that I want to do is the custom report builder. And we've already seen most of how the custom report builder works. But what I want you to see here is that you can use existing reports as a basis for making new reports out of them. And then you can fully customize them. So the way that we do this, I'm going to go back to the reports center. I'm going to go ahead and let's actually duplicate this tab so I can leave those reports in place. And when I go to the reports, there's a new button up at the top that says Create New Report. So I'm going to click on Create New Report. And now there's two different approaches that I can take. If I do blank and then click Create, then it gives me the option of starting with a report creation wizard. And then here I can type in something that I'm interested in, like something based on invoices. And then here's all of these different pre-created reports that are doing a lot of the work for you. And this list just on invoices is huge because it's all the different fields. So invoices by location, by month, by paid status, by like, you know, there's like just 50 of them here just on invoices. So that's one starting point that you could do. You also could start by adding data columns, and that just takes you completely out so that you can go completely from scratch. The other way that you can do this is when I create a new report, you can also just pick one of these as your initial basis and then build from there. So I'm going to go to the transactions list, and from here, oh, and I'm going to interrupt my flow for a minute. A bunch of people, I know that we have an announcement coming up from Intuit about QuickBooks Live at the top of the hour. So I'm going to make sure that we end right on time or a minute beforehand so that y'all can jump off. So I'll make sure that we get your last poll question within the 5 minutes beforehand. Okay. Where was I? Okay. So taking a look at the other way of doing the reports, we already went in and took a look at the columns and how to move them around and add more columns. But in advanced only, you can also go to more columns. And now some of these are grayed out, but notice that under transaction, it's dark, and I can add in fields from line items. I can add in fields from linked attributes, all kinds of things. So here I am just looking at a generic transactions list. So it has what kind of transaction it was and the date and the number and whether it posted and just a list of transactions. Now, when I'm looking at this list, I okay. I don't really care about whether it posted, and I don't really care about the creation date. I just want to see the last modified date. So I took those two columns off. Now I also want to see the customer and the vendor and the product with these transactions. So I could start looking for it under transaction down here. Or I can also just search the columns. So if I want to see what customer these are related to, I can start typing customer, and it will give me all the different tables where I can find customer. And I want the linked attribute of the line item for the customer. So now any income or AR transactions now have customers. And I want to, if it's an expense, I want to be able to assign a vendor. So I'll click on vendor. And so now all the expense accounts have vendors. And now, of course, I want to know what actual products and services we are including here so I can turn on products and service. So now check this report out. I have a report of all of my transactions with a customer assigned, a vendor assigned, a product assigned, and in some cases you will see all three. If there's job costing involved, I can see that we bought something at Hicks Hardware in order to pass the cost on to Red Rock Diner. So after you have crafted all of the columns that you want from all of the different related fields, you literally can pull together almost any kind of report that you are interested in seeing. And then, of course, you can take this report and start using all of the groupings and all of the filterings and all of the pivots so that you can do all of those things. Jean's asking, how did I duplicate my tab? I simply right-clicked on it and then told it to duplicate, and then it gives you another tab. Now, with the reports, by the way, though, it won't give you all of the reports with the customizations. It will, duplicating a tab only takes you back to the root report. So it's great all the way through QBO, except in this one use case. All right. So, like I said, this class is just the tip of the iceberg on reporting. So if I kind of whetted your appetite to learn more about reports, I have a full running reports class. And so the link is on your screen, and Cheska has the PDF in the chat so that you can download it and get that link later on. Let's go ahead and run our last poll. I'm actually probably, I think, going to end this slightly early because I know that we have this giant announcement that everybody wants to get over to. So I'll answer this last poll. The advanced reporting feature allows you to specify what fields you want as your rows and columns. Is that called Spreadsheet Sync, Custom Reports, Pivot Tables, or the Performance Center? So which report or did I demonstrate where you can tell it what rows you want and what columns you want, and then it does all the math in the middle? So go ahead and answer that as well. And yeah, let me know if this was helpful for you, if you learned something, if you kind of got jazzed about some of the new possibilities, because you know, like I said, it's kind of giving me all kinds of ideas on ways that I can help out my clients. So go ahead and you can put your comments in the chat, or in the chat would be the best place. So go ahead and answer this last question, and then we will do our wrap up for today. Okay. Oh, thanks, George. It says he always learns good stuff from me. Yay! Excellent. Good. I'm glad that it was helpful and that people found some cool features in here. Like I said, it's always ever actively evolving because they know that they need to make that cut. So they are motivated right now to take all of your feedback and build it in. So if you're doing anything and it's not doing what you wish it did, this is the perfect opportunity to go up to the gear and put in feedback, or even better, put in the feedback right in the reports center so that it goes straight to the reports team. But they're taking every little piece of feedback that you have and they're putting it into place. I've seen my own comments show up. I noticed when I was doing this just a few minutes ago, I'll show you what the feedback that I have. I was doing changing the columns, and then it recollapsed some of my fields. So after this, I'm going to be going ahead and putting in that feedback as well. Okay. Somebody's asking, what is it that I'm actually talking about? It's I don't know if I would phrase it great news. They are changing the QuickBooks Live program. And I know that I saw ads for it on Facebook and on LinkedIn. If anybody in the audience has a direct link to sign up to register for that webinar, if you could pop that into the webinar chat to help out those folks, because it is big news. And couple last things from me. I'm doing these QB talks because I love training people on how to do things, but it's not a paid position. So if some of the ways that you can help me out and thank me for doing this for you guys every month is, one thing that just came up is I just wrote another book called QuickBooks Online from Setup to Tax Time. And it's the revision of the book that I used to have with the same name. But it's a great desk reference that talks about all of the QuickBooks Online fundamentals. And so if you're a beginner, or you're looking to fill in holes in your education, or you want to be able to give your clients a gift that actually helps them run their businesses, please look me up by name on Amazon to get to that book. I also co-host a podcast with Hector Garcia called the Unofficial QuickBooks Accountants Podcast, where we go into the weeds about all of these little features in the reports and QuickBooks Online Advanced and these announcements that they're about to make and all of these things. So definitely search for us on your favorite podcasting app, or there's a QR code right here. And tune in, subscribe, download, and help and visit our sponsors as well. And please do, again, take a look at our sponsor for today and visit them as well. I went the wrong way. All right. So thank you, everybody, for attending today. I hope you found something useful and valuable. When this Zoom closes, it will give you a survey. Please do fill in the survey and let me know how I'm doing and how I can best serve you. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it back over to Cheska.
All right. Yeah. Thanks so much, Alicia, and everybody. And of course, this month's sponsor, ViaPay, with Mark Roald, who is with us, and everyone for taking some time out of your day to hang out with us right before we close it out. Just a few more seconds. Remember that we have a variety of webinars for you every month, and you can check those out on our educational webinars page. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel and newsletter that I put the links up to. So you don't miss out on news and updates that impact today's accounting professional. And again, like Alicia said, please answer a post-webinar survey that will pop up after the webinar so that we over at Insightful Accountant and Alicia can further improve our webinars and really give you guys what you want. All right. Well, thanks for today, everyone. And we'll see you again in next month's QB Talks and enjoy the Intuit webinar.
All right. See you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.